Hello, this is George Corey. I am going to be teaching you how to complete the square. Just on a side note, I would like to say Happy Easter. So our goal today is to learn what completing the square is and how to do it. So first up is what is completing the square? Completing the square is a way to solve a quadratic equation. Okay, a quadratic equation is any equation with an x squared term in it. So a main concept in completing the square is we want the coefficient of the x squared term to be 1. In our case, we do have that. So what we're going to do is now we're going to start our procedure. So first we're going to give off some parentheses. So that's going to be x squared minus 6x plus, leave a little space, plus 8 equals 0. So now this is where we're going to complete the square. Now we're going to take the formula, which would be b divided by 2 squared. When a, b, and c. So b is the -6. The -6 is an important part in this. So it's -6 divided by 2 equals -3 squared. -3 squared is 9. So we're going to put 9 here. Well, hey, we added 9 to one side. That means we either have to add 9 to the other side or subtract 9 to our side, or on the left side. So what we're going to do is, just to make it easy for right now, is we're going to subtract 9 on this side. So if you take the stuff in the parentheses and go through all this factoring, you should get eventually x minus 3 squared. That x minus 3 squared minus 1 equals 0. So then we're going to add the 1 to both sides. So we isolate the squared term. Then we get x minus 3 squared equals 1. Now we're going to take the square root to both sides. That leaves us with x minus 3 equals, since we square root a 1, that means square roots always come in pairs, a positive and negative number. So that's plus or minus 1. Then we're going to add 3 to both sides. Then we're going to get x equals 3 plus or minus 1. So that means x would equal 2 or 4. So the main thing would be, another very important part in this would be plugging the number back into the top, the original equation, and if it works and equals 0, that means we have to plug in both numbers, and if they both work and equal 0, those two are our answers. In this case, both do work, and they both are our answers. So now we're going to move on to completing the square with a coefficient greater than 1. So as you can see, we have a 2. So what we're going to do is, again, start with the same concept that we did before. We're going to toss out some parentheses. We're going to get a 2x squared plus 8x, plus something, leave a little space for that, minus 8 equals 0. So, as you can see, there is some factoring to be able to do before we can complete the square. We have to take the 2 out. So that leaves us with 2x squared plus 4x plus something, leave a little space for that, minus 8 equals 0. So now we're going to take the b term, which is the positive 4. We're going to take the 4 divided by 2. That gives us 2. Then square it. That gives us 4 again. So we're going to add 4. Now, something very important here is, did we add 4 or did we add something else? What is 2? If we did the rainbow rule, 2 times 4, that's 8 instead of 4. So on this side we have to add 8. So that gives us x plus 2 squared equals, well, 8 plus 8 is 0, so we're not subtracting or adding anything to both sides. So that gives us 0. Now we're going to take the square root to both sides. That gives us x plus 2 equals 0. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. In this case, we have one answer, and that's x equals negative 2. Okay, so I did double check the plugging number negative 2 back into the equation, and it comes out to being negative 16 equals 0, but it does not. So negative 2 is not a number, so this is undefined. Okay, so some common mistakes would be subtracting or adding the wrong amounts, like how we did here. When we thought we were adding 4, we were really adding 8 because of the rainbow rule here. Another common mistake would be not checking both answers. If you do not check both answers like we did here, or answer, then it could come out to be a big disaster because you need to check them, otherwise they could possibly not be the right answers. Okay, so these are some common mistakes. I'm going to thank you. Hopefully you learned well. Goodbye.